When we think of the climate crisis, we think of wildfires, floods, and extreme weather. But youth climate activists have also shown us that social justice is a crucial piece of the climate conversation. So what is climate justice? In Climate Truths, Global Witness will help you spot the lies, make sense of the jargon, and push for change.
Climate justice means recognizing the historical responsibilities of the crisis, and that those who are most affected are the least responsible. European and North American economies were built on unfair land deals, colonial economic models, and the extraction of wealth from countries in Africa, South America, and Asia. Economic systems were designed to concentrate power in the hands of a few and maximize profits for the wealthy, driving global inequality.
Today, the extractive economic model is replicated through powerful companies and global supply chains that operate across borders, but irresponsibly harming local communities and the local environment. On top of this, exploited countries and communities now also bear the brunt of the effects of the fossil fuel burning that drove industrialization over centuries. Take marginalized communities in Bangladesh. They are now living on the front line of floods and rising sea levels.
The poorest people, marginalized communities of color, indigenous communities, women, and LGBTQ+ people are the hardest hits. These people are increasingly known as MAPA, which is most affected people and areas. Look at the poor communities here in Argentina. They often live close to open dams, and indigenous communities live close to the most deforested areas.
And indigenous communities are particularly at risk because they depend on the land, forests, and rivers for their survival, livelihoods, and culture. For centuries, they have successfully preserved these fragile ecosystems and the species that depend on them. But their way of life is under threat from destructive companies and the governments that support them.
E a evidência é clara, a crise climática está intensificando a violência contra os defensores do meio ambiente e, consequentemente, contra os povos indígenas. Eles foram assassinados quando estavam defendendo seu território de atividades como agronegócios, mineração, garimpo e desmatamento. E nós queremos a demarcação das nossas terras, porque, consequentemente, com a demarcação dos nossos territórios é que nós podemos ter maior preservação da biodiversidade, da fauna e da flora. Em um país em que 100% era território indígena, ter somente 13% terra indígena demarcada e, consequentemente, os 13% em que mais se tem preservação, são dados que mostram que nós, povos indígenas, sim, sabemos do que estamos falando quando se trata de justiça climática e justiça ambiental.
So governments need to introduce strong corporate accountability legislation to redress the balance of power, which right now stack in favor of corporation and against community and people. It is companies that have been the engines of the climate crisis.
And legislation must uphold the rights of indigenous peoples and communities safeguarding forests. They are our last line of defense against corporate destruction. The most affected communities need to have an influence over climate policy decisions. They play an essential role in finding real solutions to the climate emergency. The pandemic has shown us something we already know. Decision makers can be bold and act in the public interest when faced with a health crisis, which is exactly what this is. The health of the planet and people go hand in hand.
That's right. This is an opportunity to think big about how we can redesign our broken systems and heal the wounded planet. We cannot turn the tide on the climate crisis without making human rights and lasting global equity central to the solution. We all want the same thing, a beautiful, healthy, and fair planet for future generations. It's about everyone not just surviving, but thriving. Hope is in the movement. Change is possible.
Share this film and get loud. Demand a fairer system for people and the planet.